So hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kite Swift Moves Trading Academy. Um, as you've probably noticed by now, I don't charge for this. I'm really putting this together for my family, but I figure if others want to look at it, they can. Um, the next video, I'm going to start getting into strategies as far as um, strategies that you can use when you're doing your technical analysis. And then from there, we'll start talking about actually placing a trade and that sort of thing. I do want to strongly emphasize when you're new at this that you paper trade to begin with. And if you don't know what that is, go look it up. But basically, it means you're trading, but you're not using real money. Now, different platforms, different brokerage houses have different means and methods, but you really need to consider paper trading because you're going to mess up and you're going to make some mistakes as you go along. And I really don't want to see anybody get hurt financially from this. So, now all this stuff that I'm going over and I'm showing you, I'm just teaching you what I do and what I know. Um, what you can do with it, I don't know. That's up to you. And I say that because I don't control you. You control you. You make the determination of what stocks or securities and so forth you're going to get involved in. But I will say you can make money in the stock market. A lot of people do. Now a lot of people don't. If you jump in this thing and you don't have a clue, you're just guessing. You look at a chart and go, "Oh, I think it's going to go up. Oh, I think it's going to go down." Chances are you're probably going to lose. I'm telling. And in options, without when options, the reason options are great is because it's leverage. You're getting the benefit of a large quantity of stock for very little investment, if you would, or money. And it can go up really fast, but it can also go down really fast. And I'm really trying to get this across to anybody watching these videos is that, yeah, you can win money and you can lose money. And you just got to be careful. You have to go into this with a game plan. So start paper trading. When you get to the point where you're making 3 out of 5 trades or wins, I would say you're probably well on track. And then you need to maybe consider, I don't know, it's up to you. You need to consider switching over and actually trading. But, if you're paper trading and you're winning 1 out of 5, you haven't figured it out yet. So just take your time. The market's going to be there. When you're ready to trade, the market will be there and you can make money. That's the beauty of this day trading. If you haven't figured it out by now, like myself and other day traders, one of the reasons I do day trade, I don't care if the stock goes up and I don't care if it goes down. I want to do one or the other. But the point to that is that I can make money if it goes down, and I can make money if it goes up. And and that's a good thing. So the key is then you got to learn to learn to do your technical analysis so you can figure out, discern whether if you believe it's going to go up or go down. But I'm just this whole video is all about winning and losing money. I've mentioned in the past on these videos, I've made some money really quick, really fast. You can do that with stocks. You can do the same thing with options. Just with options, you can do it a lot faster. But anything you do in life, if you can make money fast, and you can make money gambling in Vegas, but if you can make it fast, you can lose it fast. And that's where the skill and the knowledge is going to make the difference between whether if you keep and retain those gains or if you just give it back to the house, so to speak. That's up to you. But it's a skill, just like when you first learned to drive, just like when you first started doing your job, just like the first time you do anything, it's uncomfortable because you're not familiar with it and you feel clumsy and all that kind of stuff. And so how do you get over that? You paper trade. Now, I don't get like a plug from them or no, nothing like that. But I have used Schwab for quite a long time, and they do have a simulation side to their platform, Thinkorswim. But there's other ways that you can paper trade. I'm seriously considering maybe going back and trying Robinhood again. First time I tried it, I didn't like it, but it was an app on the phone, not a desktop version that I was using. But anyways, just long story short, I'm very comfortable with Schwab's interface. Personally, I think there's some things they do I'm not really thrilled about, but that's probably true with anything. But anyhow, point being is now Robinhood doesn't have a simulation side to their app. They don't have a, but you can paper trade, and the way you do that is you get all the way up to the part where you're going to purchase an option, and I imagine it's the same with the stock, but instead of where you go to click buy right below that, you can add it to your watch list. And when you add it to your watch list, it acts like you just bought it. So there you go. You can do that. If you don't want to do it on a brokerage house, I know in my past I've used a website called seekingalpha.com, and you can create portfolios in there, and you can add stocks or ETFs as if you did buy them. They don't know the difference. Matter of fact, I used to use Schwab to purchase my securities, but I tracked it on Seeking Alpha because I liked the interface better, and I liked that it was much easier to truly understand how much I was either up or down. But anyhow, but the point being is you can paper trade that way. Can't do options. At least I don't think it does. I guess I haven't looked. So, but anyways, but point being is however way, whatever method or means you use to paper trade first until you're profitable. And what's going to make the difference between whether if you're profitable is how well you learn to do technical analysis. Either that or you're just really good at guessing. But I would suggest you try to get good at technical analysis. It'll make a big difference. So I'm going to show you a handful of different methods for doing that. Now, which one's right for you? You got to figure that one out. Um, the closer you get to where you're not leaning on indicators and you're more leaning on reading the chart, reading the candlesticks, and looking at patterns that tell you the story of what's going on in the market, that's where you will get better at trading. So, something to think about. But as you're just starting out, it's going to take a while for you to get to that point. So if you use some indicators, use some indicators. Use some common sense too. That also helps. Anyways, we'll talk more about that as we start getting into different strategies. But I'm really trying to drive home the point that you can make money in this. I mean, just the other day I made $1,387. One day, in a 7 minute time frame, I was up 3,500, I think $80, 35 60, somewhere around there. At one time, I was talking to a friend, and within a span of about 3 minutes, I was up. That was with stocks. I was up $800. Now I bought a lot of stock, and took advantage of the price momentum. But point being is you can make money in this stuff. Figure out what, and there again, that's why you want to paper trade. Figure out which method, which technique, which strategy is working for you, and get to where you're consistent with it, and then you can go do it for real. I mean, if you really think about it, it makes sense. And I can't guarantee you what's going to happen for you in the market. I know right now I have a goal of making 10,000 a week profit in the market, and I know that's very doable. I mean, that's effectively or basically that means making 2,000 a day, Monday through Friday. And how do you score a $2,000 gain? I suggest you try to strive for making five smaller gains in that period of that day. Uh, so anyhow, just food for thought. You know, as the expression goes, I'd rather make 20% gain on 5 trades than to try to make 100% gain on one trade. If you don't understand what that means, we'll go study it. You know, if you're not good with math, you better start getting good, because if not, the math will beat you up. Anyhow, I really do want you to be successful in this. I've enjoyed it myself. And I've won money and I've lost money. Now, when you lose money, you can't beat yourself up over it, but you better learn from it. You know, sort out why you lost money, and if you're following the things I've been talking about, especially when it comes to risk management, then you should be fine. Okay. Anyhow, we'll talk more. Take care.